Hi, everybody. I'm Deb Peterson,
And I'm Ziva Valente.
and you are listening to Balance Your Life podcast, Our Evolving Consciousness. And if you're wondering what a spiritual medium is, we have just the guy today. John Moore's with us. Hi, John.
Hi, John.
Hey, hi
You're
Dee.
with
Hi
us.
Deb.
And he's going to tell us all kinds of ways that he connects to loved ones who have passed. And he's also intuitive. So,
And John is
let's,
coming to us from his workshop,
yes, he
which
is.
is his
This
workshop for everything.
He's
everything, everything. So if you contact me for a reading, you're going to see the same thing
This is
behind
the
me.
best background of anyone we've ever had, honestly.
Yeah.
He's definitely the most
Yep.
unique.
I feel like if he can't, if you're not getting what he's giving you is the reading, he can fix you with some tools.
You say that, and then I actually sit here and I do woodworking and so on, and I'll
Good.
be doing things, and this is where I get the most. I'm able to focus the most,
So
and yeah. So usually when I do a reading, and when someone books a reading with me, probably about an hour or so before, I'll come in the workshop and just do a little bit of work and get things, and that way I can get
that's
focused
great.
and
We have
yeah, and then I'll meditate for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then
uh-huh.
off we go.
Great.
So,
Well, you want to tell us a
but
little bit about your background, how you got started?
sure.
That time?
I don't want to give the typical answers on, so how did
Good.
you know and all this stuff is, because I'll just say real quick and then we'll get into it. Yes, when I was very young, I figured something was happening.
Right.
But it wasn't until about 12 years ago that I really began to look into this whole spiritual thing and medium and psychic and so forth. And I kind of ignored it, kind of looked at it, kind of ignored it. I really didn't want to, because if you want to know who was the biggest skeptic in the entire world, it was me.
This guy.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah, yet I come from a place where um, the spooky things are happening all the time around me. I could tell you stories of seeing ghosts, hearing things, and seeing crazy things.
Hmm.
And I do believe that there are ghosts. I believe that, it's all there, but I was skeptical about this whole mediumship thing and how people can communicate and talk and all that. And my wife now, she's 100% there. She is so into it. Um, but then over time, I really, um, I think I was in denial. I just didn't want to believe it because of the things that I was getting. Because I'm extremely intuitive. I can, I hear things. I hear voices.
Okay.
People talking, and I smell things, and I get sensations, and all of these things that were happening. And I knew there was something, but again, I just denial.
And
I
so,
didn't want
wait,
to
I have
get
to
into
stop you.
it.
So you have all this stuff happening. What'd you do? Just ignore
Mhm.
it?
Yeah, I did. I actually ignored it,
Don't talk to me.
and
Okay.
yeah, and so, but I'll go way back in like right out of high school. I actually worked in a radio station, and I worked in there for a while, and I was just, the behind the scenes person, did things and so forth. But these radio stations in northern New Jersey, which I was where
Mhm.
I'm from,
Yeah.
uh, been around forever,
Uh-huh.
forever. And when I would go into the one radio station, um, there you are. My thing froze. Um, oh, what it is, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Zoom is seeing my hand gestures and it's telling me not to use my hands.
Oh, you're fine on our end. Yeah, don't worry about
But you froze. So, and then when I X that thing out, you came back.
it. Okay.
Anyway,
Okay.
these radio stations, the one I worked at, I would go into and I would really feel uncomfortable. And I thought it was just like I hated the job. That's what I was feeling. But I found out that some things that happened in this radio station, and then again, that made me feel like I don't need this. And
Oh,
uh, but then back in 2010, I got somebody contacted me and an old friend and said, "Hey, are you still doing radio?" And I said, "Dude, I haven't done radio in, you know, 25 years." And he said he was doing a internet radio station, asked if I'd like to be involved and do a show or something, and I agreed. Fortunately for him, I broke my leg, so I was out of work, had nothing to do, so I was stuck in the house. So I figured, why not?
Right.
And that graduated into really, I did my own podcast. I did the radio. I had my own radio show, very successful back in 2010 till about 2016. And I began doing celebrity interviews. And I'm not talking just, I don't want to say just, but I
Yeah.
was doing local, doing this or that person. Then I started doing celebrities who doing TV shows. What's the TV show where they live in Alaska, live out in the middle of nowhere? I
Oh
can't remember the
yes.
name.
Off the grid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I interviewed a bunch of them. I actually did. Oh my gosh, there were so many of them. I mean, just so many. And so it was like, celebrity interviews. To me, it was no big deal.
Right.
Then something that came across my email for an interview because somebody just wrote a book, which I got a lot of that, where
Mm.
people write a book, they want to get on radio and TV and want to promote the book, was from the psychic Mark Anthony. Mark Anthony is just an amazing
Yeah.
medium, and everything. He's a very intelligent guy, very smart guy.
Wasn't he a lawyer?
And
I think he was a lawyer first.
he's a lawyer,
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
and he, of course, is a medium. Um, and so I was like, I don't know, do I want to get back? Do I want to get into this? And what it was, and what we discovered with his help was that I had this incredible fear of what was going to happen
Yeah.
if
You,
I acknowledged
yeah.
this and had a reading from somebody.
Right.
I was terrified, just terrified. But my wife, well, she didn't convince me. She told me I had to do the
There
interview.
you go.
And so when we did the interview, of course, before you do an interview, before you record and everything, there's always this short period of time where you talk. And so when we got on the phone and I had him all connected and we're ready to go, I said, Mark, look, I want you to know that I am terrified. And he goes, stop talking. He said, wait till we do the interview
Excuse me.
and then you can say whatever you want to say.
Wow.
So then we went over a few things and then we started. And I said, Lark, before we even start, I'm going to tell you, I am absolutely terrified. This scares the living daylights out of me. And I tell you, I am nervous. I'm not sure I even want to do this. And he goes, it's funny you say that, John, because that's what my book is about. Yeah. And we did about an hour interview, and he did a reading uh, during the interview. And um, afterwards, I'd have to say that I was okay, still a little skeptical. And after the interview, we talked on the phone for a little while, and I explained some of the things that I experienced and did and all that. And he said, you, sir, are going to be a medium. And
Right.
that's what he said.
That's awesome.
And maybe 3 or 4 years later, it was strange. I was sitting in our other room, in the den, I guess you could say the office. And I got up, went out to our kitchen. My wife was sitting there, and I sat down and I said, I got to tell you what's going through my head right now. And she says, ooh, ghosts. I was like, so I started explaining things, what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling, what I'm hearing. I'm going through all this. And what it turned out to be was her great aunt had come through, and she was giving me all of these symbols and pictures in my head, and I'm seeing all of this stuff. And what it came down to was her great aunt um, uh, and her husband were ballroom dancers. Now they're from back in the 30s and 40s. So when that, it was like, I mean, they would go to competitions, um, and other things were mixed in with that. But I finally put it together and she knew exactly who it was, and she told me, and I said, wow, that's odd. It really is. And um, so then. Um, we were kind of talking about it, and I was still seeing some things. And I said, but it's strange that this spirit all of a sudden was like right in my face. And they're doing this and they're smiling, big teeth smiling, And next thing you know, the iPad, my wife's iPad rings and it's our granddaughter to do a FaceTime. And we answer it and she goes, "You're not going to believe this." And we're like, "What?" And this is exactly what she did. She goes, "I lost a tooth." And
Wow.
she smiled. And I'm like, "What?" And she said, "Look, I
Wow.
lost a tooth."
That's
And
great.
you're right. And it just amazing because whenever she lost a tooth, we were always the last ones to know. But she said, "You were going to be my first phone call."
Aw.
And from then, I decided to pursue it more. And I actually contacted a few people. I got a mentor. I've done a ton of mediumship development classes through the College of Psychic Studies out over in London, and as well as the Arthur Findlay School. And these are amazing institutions over in
Yeah.
Europe because the psychic world, I know the word psychic is
The
but
intuitive world.
it's
Okay.
incredible in Europe. It's like the center of
Yeah.
psychic, and so the opportunity to be able to study and develop my mediumship with some people from over in Europe was just fascinating. And then I got a mentor. Her name is Lynn Parker. She's just a fabulous person, and she's so good. She's helped me develop this and work hard and be able to do what I do.
John,
Um,
did your with this development, did your way of receiving change?
no, what they did was is there's kind of a general um, thesis to what a mediumship is. And, although we're all doing the same thing, we have the same end goal in
Mm,
mind of what we want to do. A lot of us do it differently, or we get these messages
yeah.
differently. What they helped me to do was to interpret, being able
Yeah.
to take what I'm getting and to give it to the person that I'm reading for. And also on, how to connect. Sure, they would help me take how I'm connecting and make that a lot stronger on how, what do you do to make it a stronger connection? One thing I did not know is, our energy that we put out tells people who we are. And when you want to connect to a spirit, there's absolutely no way you're going to be able to get to where they are, okay, with where your energy levels are. So what happens is when I need to communicate with spirits and when I put myself out there to say, hey, I've got this person. This person's name is Joe, and whatever spirits want to communicate, and the spirits will actually come down to my level, and I've got to meet them somewhere,
Sure.
and that's why when I do readings, sometimes it's the signal's a little vague, then it's a little stronger, and so on. Um, and so when I would, and I'm still studying with Lynn, my mentor, and I'm actually about to do a very advanced class coming up. Oh gosh, I think it's in January, and I'm so fascinated with what I can do. It surprises me what
That's,
I can do with the things that happen.
yes.
And I'm going to tell you a story. Um, gosh, back maybe 4 years ago, I was doing a reading and it was with somebody over in the UK. And she just wanted just a basic reading, just didn't
Mhm.
have anything specific in mind. And just so you know, if I don't have a lot of information, when I do a reading, I forget everything.
All right.
At the end of that reading, I don't remember anything. It's very rare that I will be able to repeat some information that I have,
Yeah.
because one of the things you learn as a medium is don't hold on to what you're getting. You
Ah,
get it, you pass it on. You get this and you get this and you pass it on. Don't try to figure it out. Don't try to interpret it if you don't have to. Just pass it on. It's your responsibility as the client. Whatever information I give you, okay, it will all make sense to you later
Yeah.
or then, but I can't help you any more than what I'm getting and what I'm putting together for you. So I generally forget it. I did a reading for my wife, which you would think is very biased, because how can you do that with somebody we've been together 41 years? How can you do a reading for somebody that you know everything about them? But I get uncles and aunts. Her mom comes through often, her dad comes through, her grandfather comes through. And it's just not even so much that she needs a message, it's just validation,
Hmm.
that these spirits are here, and
Right.
so
They can
on.
help you. Yeah.
And I did a reading for her the other night, and I got so frustrated because I'm doing this reading for her. I'm getting all kinds of information, and this is going awesome. And I'm like, wow, what an amazing connection I have. And then she looks at me and she goes, what does she look like? And I was
Ah.
like, what? She
Mhm.
goes, well, what does she look like? Because her great grandmother was coming through, who she never met. She didn't know.
Oh.
And I said, I just told you. And she said, what? No, you didn't. I said, yeah, I did. And I looked and I said, are you not writing this down?
Ah.
No, I'm like, oh no, it's,
Ah.
and that's why I tell people you have to write this down.
Right.
This is
Record
the
it.
only way that you're going to know. So I'm doing this reading for this person, and I got a few people for her some validation so she knew there was a connection. And then I got this person who started telling me things, and she said, what's this person's name? So I asked the spirit what their name was. Sometimes they tell you, sometimes they don't. But I get names. I've had other psychics, spiritual mediums, intuitives tell me, don't try to figure out names.
Mhm.
I can't help it. A name comes to me. I
Right.
give that name and I pass it on.
Okay.
And every single time it's somebody they know or
That's
something
good.
that has to do with them. All right. So I told her this name and she goes, oh, well, are they talking about her? And I then thought, what does she mean by that?
Right.
Mhm.
And I said, what? And she goes, well, I'm wondering if the spirit is just talking about her because that's her. It was her nanny from when she was a child who was living with her mother. Okay. And I said, um, I don't know. Let me ask. I already knew the answer.
Well,
Well, what it was is her nanny had taken ill. I mean, she was very ill, and the spirit that I was communicating with was actually her.
Oh,
She was still with us,
yeah. Wow.
yeah, that
Wow.
happened. I've
and
seen
she's
it.
communicating with me. And
Mhm.
so I asked her, "Are you still with us?" And she said yes. And we did thinking, and I told the person I was reading for, I said, "It's her." And so we did a bunch of things, and she agreed that, oh yeah, okay. And so then during the reading, I suddenly felt an incredible amount of grief. I mean, just I felt like I had never ever felt this much grief. It was a horrible feeling. And she said, "What?" And I said, "No, nothing." She goes, "No, what? Why are you? What's wrong? What are you getting?" And I had to tell her.
Yeah.
And so we talked for a little bit more, and then I'm saying, she's telling me that you need to call your mom. And she said, okay. And we did a little more, and she hung up the phone. During the reading, her nanny had passed away. She had crossed over,
Wow.
Yeah.
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 and she had called her mom. And at that moment, that's when she passed. When right after that, and it was. She contacted me later on, and she was so grateful that she had done the reading because
Yeah.
she was any
Right.
other time she wouldn't have called. She wouldn't have thought to call. She would have just gotten a phone call a day or two later that she had passed, but she was able to do that. And then maybe a year later, I was doing a reading for someone, and they had an uncle who had Alzheimer's, and I was communicating with the uncle, because our spirits, you know, they're separate from who we are as far as what our body is. So
Right.
therefore the brain doesn't know how to communicate, but the spirit still does.
Mhm.
And so even though through their body and through their mind and whatever, this person can't communicate, they can still communicate spiritually. And that's why, which I have not talked to too many mediums who have communicated with people still living.
Yeah, and
Um,
I mean, we know of this, but we have not had a lot
mhm,
of people
No,
talk
yeah.
about this, and
actually,
I
Mhm.
love this. I think this is great
Yeah.
that you're
Well,
well,
wait for it, because
okay, okay,
you'll. Not that any of you have somebody who's going to die. Please don't misinterpret
right.
that. Um, but actually, oh, I'll tell you. During the oneness event
Yeah.
back in March, I had the same thing where
Mhm.
I was talking. I gave a reading to a woman, and it was her. I can't remember. I know it was in either an aunt, maybe her mother. I'm not
Right,
sure.
somebody that has. So I
But
want
I,
to say that actually we do know people. I just
Mhm.
had an event recently, and quite a few people that were still here having dementia or Alzheimer's,
mhm,
whatever. And he was explaining exactly what you're saying because they might not be able to talk to you
Right.
clearly here
right, right,
in Florida.
right. Do you
And
know I don't like going to hospitals?
yeah,
I'm
because of
sure.
that.
I'm sure.
Um, I'm very uncomfortable in hospitals, and I had to one night. I don't know what time it was. I do woodworking, and I use woodworking knives and so on. And this is what I use when when I'm carving or whatever. And I just happened to put one of them through my finger. So I had to go to the hospital,
Oh,
and we get there, and I'm sitting there, and then we're waiting, and they put me in a separate room there, and I'm sitting there, and suddenly I start getting this. I'm
Like,
like, oh no.
yeah.
And there is never ever a time I don't want to communicate with
okay.
spirits. But when I cut half my finger off and I'm in pain and I just want to get fixed, that's generally not the time I want to be
Right, you're like
talking to
later,
somebody.
please,
But
right?
sometimes you have to, and you might say, well, can't you turn that on and off? And yes, you can. And I'll tell you why sometimes I don't. But anyway, um, so start getting this information. The spirit is talking to me, and I'm getting all of this stuff. And I told my wife, I said, Kathy, I said, this person's here,
Mm.
and this person is still with us. So a nurse came in, and I said to the nurse, I said, do you believe in mediums? And she goes, oh, are you a medium? And
Ah.
she's like all excited. And I said, yeah, I need your help. I know you can't tell me too much. I said, so I described everything I got. She goes, yeah, there's a woman out here who's wearing the exact dress that I described.
Oh.
She's on a stretcher in a hallway. And I don't know what was wrong, why she was there, whatever. Um, but I was telling the nurse, I said, she's telling me that somebody has to get her family. Somebody please contact her family. They don't know she's here. They don't know I'm here. They don't know I'm here.
Mm.
And right before we left, um, I got and I asked her if she was still with us, and she said no.
Oh boy.
Oh,
So um, kind of made me sad.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I did find out that her family did get there.
Okay,
Um,
good,
you
good.
know,
So,
go ahead.
it just leaves a question with me and for clarity for our audience. Do you think that when you're connecting with souls that are still here, they are on their way transitioning out, or they may be distracted enough that they're open to your communication? Like, is it always that they're on their way?
Yeah, everyone that I have communicated who was still with us had passed on, I'm going to say within a day or so,
Got it. Okay.
Wow, okay.
Got it.
while I was connected to them.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I feel an incredible amount of privilege
Yeah.
that I was able to do that, you
Yeah.
know. I know that talking to people and with doing readings for people, a lot of the heartbreak that people have because they lose somebody is because they weren't able to communicate to them.
Right. Of course.
You know, if somebody's in
Number one
in
thing.
in a bad wreck and they get a head injury and they can't communicate with anybody, people feel they can't communicate. They don't know how to do it. But when they get a reading later on, and I had somebody who had lost her husband, and I described her sitting in the room with her husband alone. I described everything in the room, you know, and I even told her some of the conversation she was having with her husband. And when he passed, I told her he had asked you if it was okay if he could go. Is that right? And she said, yeah. And I told him it was okay. And not many people get that. And and
Yeah.
he did pass away almost right away after she gave him permission. He passed. But it's not until later that we talk to people and I'm doing a reading and the spirit says, hey, I know you were there. And of course, you know this, I'll tell them what they were talking about.
Yeah.
And they say, well, how could you know this? And I said, well,
Right.
he was
For
there.
validation.
He
Yeah.
was there. He heard what you were saying, and I'll tell them what he was saying so they know.
Yeah.
But people, it depends on the circumstances. I can't tell you why some do and some don't, you know.
It's so healing and it's so nice. Like people, yeah, it's
The best
amazing.
part about what I do is being able to help people. I see the change in people when I sit and I do a reading. You can just see the body language changing, the way they sit, the way they, their face and everything about it starts changing when I start
Oh. Oh, we're a little
to them
frozen.
and all of these things. And it's not so much saying, oh, they still love you, they this. No, what it is to them is when I tell them, well, this one's telling me that you need to take that little salt shaker and put it on this side of the countertop. And they say, oh my God, I was looking at that yesterday and trying to decide where I wanted to put things.
Yeah,
you know
that's
that's the validation that people need, not
right.
so much all the big stuff and the most obvious things that I could tell them. It's when you give that tiny bit of validation to them that that spirit is actually still with them.
Well, like how you got the validation of your granddaughter, like
Yeah,
that's like, hey, this is gonna happen to you right now. I'm real.
yeah.
Or
And coincidentally, our granddaughter is named after her.
oh,
So
yeah,
yeah.
That's
So
fun.
that's
that's
even more.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, it's it's going back to learning and what I've done. Uh, I think what happens with some mediums is they get to a point where they think, you know what, I got this, I'm good, and I can do this. It's something that you have to work on all the time.
Really?
You cannot take a break. I can't take a break. I took a break just recently, May, June, and part of July. I didn't do anything. And when I started doing them again, I was really having a difficult time.
Interesting.
You've got to, you have to do this all the time, not just doing readings and doing your meditations and so on. I connect with other mediums. Of course, my mentor, Lynn and a few other people. I have two incredible friends. One is she's a medium. She's a Reiki healer. Oh my God, a whole bunch of stuff. And then there's the other one. Her name is Yutha. Yes, I'll explain that. But then there's Nate. Nate's in the UK. He's a wonderful friend, one of my best friends, and he is a energy healer. And not only is he energy healer for uh, us people, he also connects to spirits
Yeah.
who need his help, whether
Great.
um, continuing their journey to
Yeah.
where they have to go, or maybe there's something going on that's preventing them from doing whatever, and he helps do that.
Yeah.
These are the kind of people that I connect with, and that brings me to another thing as a medium. Um, the best thing you can do for yourself is to have that positive energy.
Mhm.
with the positive energy. You need to have that. Um, uh, you and I, Deb, had talked about that the other day when we spoke. Is about your energy and being able to do this.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you, I learned that I had to do a purge in my life.
Mhm.
I had to say goodbye to quite a few people because of that negative energy that they were
Yeah,
bringing.
yeah,
Things in your life surrounding you, I've known people who have left jobs, quit jobs because of how negative it was.
that's
And,
good.
and after
It's
all
good
this
they did
change
that.
I did, I realized I have no friends. So they all went away.
Oh, you get new ones.
But I have these new friends that are absolutely
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah,
And yes, they give me encouragement, but they are extremely critical of me too, because they are mediums and all of this.
yeah. Well, that's good
And
though.
they are very honest with me,
Right.
brutally honest with me. And it's great though. Um, but having that energy, like today, before we connected here, I did spend time meditating. I went outside, and this is a good lesson for folks who are watching it for you.
Yeah.
Is keeping yourself grounded.
Yes.
One of that is the most important thing for anybody is to stay grounded and get yourself grounded. Because I went outside, I still haven't put my socks or shoes on. I'm still in. I go outside, I go and I sit right in the middle of the yard
Yeah.
with my feet on the ground and I meditate. And I get that energy from the earth and so forth, because our spiritual health is just as important as our physical health. I work on my spiritual health all the time, because it affects how I think, what I do, and how I do things. If I'm spiritually unbalanced, I can't function. I have a difficult time functioning. And when I feel that negative energy, no matter where it's coming from,
Yeah.
uh, you know, um, I'll find time to get centered, to focus, and get rid of that energy.
Right.
Uh, because, example, I don't know, last week maybe, I was around somebody. It was a very negative person. I mean, the world was the worst place to be for them, and everything that they said was a complaint. And they're mad and angry, and boy, I just felt that negative energy coming from them. And I started. I have no other way to say it, but I started feeling dirty. You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
Yeah.
We know. Yeah. Like
I just
contaminated.
started
We
Yes.
know.
feeling like, oh, and so I removed myself from that. I spent a little bit of time meditating, and I kind of got back to where I was supposed to be. So our spiritual health is just as important as everything else.
Yeah.
Our mental health, I think, is absolutely dependent on our spiritual health. You can,
Yes.
you know, I how many years ago? Uh, Probably 30 years ago, I had a serious anger problem. You know, um, um, I had depression, all of that. But once I got into this whole spiritual thing and started doing what I'm doing and the people I'm involved with, you know, all of that was like, wow, how in the world did I survive? Being that way. And, why don't I have more enemies than I do now
Yeah.
because of the kind of person I was? And when I see people now who I haven't seen in a long time, they say, "Man, what are you okay? What are you taking antidepressants? So what's going?" I'm
Awesome.
like, "No, no. This is who I am." And
Yeah.
my wife tells me constantly. She said, "This is who you're supposed to be.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. And it's
This is
difficult when it's
this is
difficult
the
like that.
real you."
Yep.
It's because you're not being who you're supposed to be, and it's very difficult to exist without
Yes.
allowing that in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard being somebody that you're not.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I was being somebody I was not. And that's where I didn't know it at the time, but that's where my frustration was, my anger was. That's everything came from that because I didn't know who I was. I had no clue. And when I actually had to start being nice to people, um,
Yeah.
my wife could tell you, boy, did I struggle with that. I
Ah.
really did. After being, I won't use the word, being a butthole to everybody.
Ah.
um it was I felt uncomfortable being nice.
Wow.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah, because it wasn't your norm. That's what happens for a
right.
little bit,
It
right?
was my norm, but now, oh my gosh, I am probably the friendliest person you'll ever come across. I say hello to strangers. I say goodbye
Oh,
to strangers. I tell people to have a great day just by passing by. I'll say, hey, have a great day. You know, and it's, you know why? It's because I love that positive energy. I love how it makes me feel to have that kind of
and it makes
energy
other
going.
people feel good too. When you make a comment, you compliment them or something, you could just make someone's
Hmm.
day. And by a little thing that you say,
Hmm.
I think
Well, I've had a few people tell me to F off when I've told them
you're
to have a great day.
kidding.
You know, it's just because they're
Fingers.
angry.
Ah, I
And
can't
and I, you know, sometimes I don't respond.
ever.
Other times I'll just say, well, but you know what? Maybe down the road when they walked a little bit further, they might have said, man, I shouldn't have said that. Or,
Yeah, yeah.
hey, the guy was just being nice or whatever. You know, so I think I always try to put a positive spin on anything, you know. So yeah, it's been just an amazing journey. You know, we were talking about being psychic. You know, the reason why I call myself a spiritual medium, or just sometimes a medium,
Mhm.
is I think the word psychic it brings up with it a little bit of a negative
Yeah, connotation. We
connotation.
know.
connotation. Because if you go down, you know, you're up north, and I've been in New York a lot, is you every other doorway is a psychic, you know. Down here, I live in Virginia. When I go some of the towns in here, I see it all the time. And, you know, let's go back to the 90s with Psychic Chloe, you know, when she was on TV.
All
You know
right.
who I'm talking about.
Mhm.
1-900, you know, Chloe, you know, or whatever it was. I mean, you want to talk about negative. So you know when that word psychic comes up, I kind of just a little bit of cringe on it. And I think a spiritual medium, you know, a spiritual medium
That's
does
great.
the same thing as a psychic medium.
Yes, and also we have
Um,
a friend who's a medium,
mhm.
intuitive astrologer. He actually calls himself a spiritualist. We love that because it
Well,
covers all everything.
Great, great,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And that's probably what I should do, but I like being saying a
I like
medium, you
spiritual
know.
medium. I think that's very
I
cool.
use a lot of the psychic abilities that I have to do readings.
Mhm.
Um, I can hold objects and, you know, get that energy from those objects and, you know, being able to, you know, kind of give them a little bit. And sometimes I have to do that to kind of get the
Energy?
session going
Oh, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say
because,
get
you
that
know, if I
energy
can get the
flowing.
energy.
Yeah.
yeah.
I used to do oracle cards to
Oh,
kind of help get things going, but I'm not a big fan of oracle or tarot cards. Just not my thing.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it's too much to remember.
Right, because you have to know the meanings of everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people just use them as tools.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
it's just something to
Yeah.
help you facilitate
Exactly.
the
Right,
message.
Everybody says it's just a tool, but
right.
I just am
Well,
I'm
you don't
good the
need
other
it,
way
especially when
around.
you're a
But
medium. I don't think you need it as much, but
Do you usually work with people one on one? Or are you working with groups?
I most of mine are individual. I do groups, up to 6, 10. You know, I've not done platform readings. Um, I've not experienced it myself as far as doing it.
Hmm.
And so I don't know how that would be for me if I were to do that. You know, I mean, I can stand in front of 6, 10 people and do a reading, you know, and kind of involve everybody. I always let people know you may be in a group, you know, doesn't mean I'm going to connect with somebody for you.
right,
Right,
you can't
always
You
keep
know,
guarantee
it
it.
in
Yeah.
one person.
yeah. And so if I get a group of 50 people, you know, it's like, you know, I feel like I'm disappointing everybody, you know, because I like to give everybody something. I want people to go away from what I do with something, you know.
Right. Hi, I'm Debbie Peterson. I'm founder of the Wellness Gala. We've been doing upscale wellness events for about 20 years now. But today I want to ask you to follow us or like us and subscribe to our podcast because we take a deeper dive into spirituality. We have all kinds of different holistic practitioners and mediums and psychics and the whole gamut of anything spiritual. So if you like that kind of stuff, please subscribe.
So
You want to show us what you do or we'll put you on the spot?
Well, I got to tell you something. Before we even got on the Zoom, I was early, about an hour or so more. No, not even about 2 hours ago. I was getting a name Arnold,
That's so
and I don't know who Arnold is. It's just like I say, if you get a name, just set it
you just
aside
say
if it
it.
comes up or if it's somebody. But I got this strong Arnold, but I'm also getting a bird. I'm seeing a bird. Somebody's got a bird somewhere. Um, and I'm not great with colors, but I'm getting like a grayish bird.
Like a
It can
pet.
almost look, it can, yeah, I don't know. It almost looks like a pigeon, but I'm not sure what it is. Um,
I have those in my backyard. Like, and
Yeah.
it's weird. They're not pigeons, but they kind of look like them. And I actually I've been noticing them lately, and I'm like, what the heck bird is that? Like they're these gray.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if that's it,
I know
but
my dad always comes to visit whenever I see
you
cardinals.
have,
yeah, the cardinals.
Dad, you
Yeah,
have bird feeders. You have bird feeders in your
I
backyard.
don't. Do you?
You
Yeah.
don't.
But I have woods in the back of my house, so
Right. But I'm seeing this bird. I don't know if it's one or many, and I'm not sure if it's the bird you're looking at or you're explaining. And I don't even know why I mentioned the bird feeder thing. Um, how much time do you spend in the backyard,
me
Deb? Yeah.
a lot.
Do you?
Quite a bit. Yeah, because I have a pool and I'm a big swimmer. And so whenever I'm out
I'm
there,
getting that
I get her out there like every night.
this bird it's the same bird.
It's so weird.
And it's the same bird that comes around. Have you seen a gray bird? Have you seen these kind of birds in the wintertime?
No, that's what I was saying. I just kind of
But
noticed.
there is one bird. There's this one bird. It's all the time. It doesn't go anywhere. It
Huh,
comes back. It stays. It's not like it goes with everybody else.
I don't know.
Um, hmm, okay. Who's Malachi?
No idea.
Malachi, not Michael. It's
I have no
I'm
clue.
getting these names, and I told you how about names. I get these names, and
Is it one of my guides or something? I have no
it
idea.
might be, it could
Big.
be.
I don't know
I'm
what
getting this
type of
whole,
person.
yeah, and I'm seeing the Bible, and I'm getting name Malachi.
Okay,
Um,
that's wild.
yeah, um, I'm seeing a short vase. Can't be but 8 or 10 inches tall, 10 inches tall. It's got a plant in it, just one on a stem.
Okay.
I don't know what kind of flower it is. It's not showing me what kind of a flower it is. I'm just seeing a stem with some leaves, and there is a flower, but it's not letting me see what that flower is. Um, and it's sitting on the end of a table somewhere, and it's a narrow table, but very long. I'd say about 4 feet long, but only about 12 inches deep. And it's standing there on the end, and it's got a flower. And I so want to say it's a rose, but I'm not even getting that from it. Um,
So I have like a little plant type flower thing
On
that's
the
on my
wall in your room or
no, in the
in
kitchen.
the
I have a
kitchen? Okay.
peninsula.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah.
That Matt gave me for Mother's Day.
mhm,
My son gave it
Yeah.
to me a few years ago, and it's the peninsula is not that wide. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's probably more than 12 inches,
mhm.
right? I don't know.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
but and it's long and thin. I don't know. That's
right.
the thing.
Um,
It's inside, right? Inside, and it's in a
right.
little
It's
white vase.
inside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, and this uh the table or whatever, is it dark? It's
Yeah,
dark,
it's
dark
almost
color?
black, like a dark gray.
Almost black. Yeah. No, I'm not even getting
That's
gray.
the
I'm just getting
peninsula.
like a
Yeah,
black,
yeah, yeah. It's pretty.
Um, but I'm seeing it almost by itself sitting there on the end
Yeah,
of
it
this
is.
table.
Well,
Um, I'm seeing a little dog.
Well, I used to have a little dog when I was in college.
But I'm seeing a little dog, and it's a she.
No, this was a boy.
No, this is a she, and she's quite small. Can't be, but 5 or 6 pounds, eight
Oh,
pounds maybe.
this is a
I'm
she.
getting white and gray, kind of big ears.
Nope. Oh,
Hmm.
not for me, or not that of dogs I've had
All right.
that I could think of. But
Yeah, I'm still getting this table or the counter with your plant or your
yeah,
little vase.
and it's
I'm trying
significant.
to get what the significance of
Yeah.
this is. Um,
What color was Schliff?
So it was like white, black,
Oh,
like, but
mm,
not, he had little ears that stood up.
yeah. What's the number 15 or 16?
Okay.
Something about either the 15th or the 16th of a month, or just the numbers 15 or 16.
Okay, so my dad died on the 16th of July, a couple years,
Okay.
if he's trying to talk to me.
Yeah.
My older son is born on the 15th of June.
Okay. You said your son gave you this
Yeah, but that's my other
flower plant.
son, actually. That's my other son.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay. Huh.
yeah, not the same.
Maybe this is your son, your dad, and this involves your son.
Hmm. My dad likes to pop in a lot.
he does.
He visits me a lot.
He does.
Yeah.
Where's the conflict? There's a conflict somewhere here.
With my son? Or
Your dad and somebody, and it may have been your son, or was there a conflict
no, no.
between your dad and someone, or your son and someone? But I'm getting the two of them.
Interesting.
Well,
Which son,
wait,
though?
hold on. Because when your dad, Andrew was taking care of your son was taking care of your dad when he
Well, they
was,
both were.
yes, and there were times when, because your dad didn't, he couldn't, he was acting out of character.
No, not with
You remember,
them.
you
No.
told me once and you felt bad. I remember you telling me the story
Not
and
that
you
I
were very,
remember. Okay, the
Well,
only conflict I can.
your dad, I'm getting what Dee was talking about. Yes, he did not like the fact that people had to take care of him. Okay.
Right.
He
Okay.
did not like it. He may have said it was okay, but he didn't like it.
No, he
But there,
definitely didn't like it. No, but I don't think he wasn't like mean to them.
no, that's not what I mean. There's just a
Oh,
conflict somewhere. And I think this conflict comes from that. He did not like that people had to take care of him.
yeah, yeah. That's why he checked out. Yep. Yep.
Why am I seeing his legs? Was there something with his legs, either before he passed or while he was ill? Um,
He did get it swollen. He had like some kind of blood clot thing. So
mhm.
yeah, around his ankles and his legs were getting
I
swollen.
was just going to say there's some swelling. I'm seeing
Yeah,
swelling on his legs somewhere that he was having
on his
issues.
ankles. Yeah.
Um, he's telling me that it was very painful, but he didn't want to tell anybody because he didn't want anybody to fuss over him.
Right. I'm sure.
Um,
He had lots of painful things physically. That.
who was the one that would walk in with a tray of something or a container of something, whether it was food, and just walk in and say, "Hey, I got you something to eat."
God, a lot of people.
Something to eat. It's a very, oh,
It's not me.
no, this is a person. He's telling me that it was somebody who had attitude. Somebody with attitude would come to see him and say, "Here, I got your food," or "Here, I got you something to eat." Um,
Hmm.
there's somebody that he didn't want coming to see him or be there.
Really?
And I'm seeing it was a woman.
Oh, that's interesting.
Um,
My sister? Huh. I said my sister-in-law. I was kind of kidding.
well,
I don't
I'm
know.
not saying that it was, but I'm kind of getting you in this image. Okay, I'm not saying that it's you,
Right.
but I'm kind of seeing you as this, not as this, but
Huh.
in there.
And I did always bring him food, but I think he wanted me to, but everyone did kind of. Huh.
Um,
That's
I'm getting, I'm getting pain
yeah.
in my head,
Mm.
back here or somewhere. Did he have a head injury? Did he? Was it a tumor? Cancer?
No, he ended up having dementia, but he had
Okay.
a lot of arthritis throughout his body,
Okay.
necks. Like he
Right.
was a big athlete,
Yeah.
and possibly I mean, some of my intuitives have told me he actually had like a bone cancer, but we never did
Well,
it.
I'm getting pain back in
Yeah,
here.
I don't
Um,
possible. His neck, his shoulders, really, for
yeah, it's more right here.
oh, I don't know. I mean, not that he
Um,
told us, because he didn't really tell you. He didn't want to.
no. He's not one to complain.
Right.
He didn't tell people. He wasn't very truthful about how he was feeling
Right.
or what was wrong with him.
Right. Exactly.
I'm getting the letter D. I'm not going to say it's a name I don't know, just the letter D.
Yeah. Well, so his name is Richard, but people called him Dick from like
Okay.
college on. Yeah.
Okay. Um, he wasn't communicating much
Right.
before he passed,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
He's telling me he felt lonely because he wasn't able to communicate to people. He wasn't able to talk.
Mhm.
Um, I'm getting that he says there was someone with him when he passed,
Yep.
but they didn't know he passed until later.
Oh, so I was with him and my
Okay.
son was with him and a nurse had just come to check him and I don't know, I think we knew. Maybe my son didn't realize at that moment, but I
Hmm.
did. So I don't,
Were you holding his hand?
not
Who
at
was
that
holding his
exact
hand?
time. I
But you
mean, I
did.
was, but maybe
He's
not.
showing me that somebody's holding his hand.
Yeah, at that precise moment, I think the nurse was there trying to listen to his heart or something.
No,
But right
but
before,
somebody was holding his hand
yeah,
when he
he had me
passed.
hold his hand.
And I
Yeah.
don't think he's telling me you didn't know he passed, but
Oh,
you were
oh,
holding his hand at the
Maybe
moment.
he already passed
oh,
by.
maybe he already did right before she.
And he
Okay.
already passed. Yeah, he's saying that he didn't. He was
Right
gone
before she
before.
came. Oh,
Yeah, before she came in.
okay, that
Um,
makes sense. Yeah, that was me. That would be me.
um, he's showing me something about sugar. Too much sugar. He's saying too much sugar.
Well, when he started towards the end, he wanted to eat dessert with every meal, and he'd
Too
forget.
much sugar. Too
Yep,
much sugar.
tons of sugar. That's what.
Somebody said to him, "It's too much sugar. You can't eat that much." Um,
Well, we kind of let him. But
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. I'll,
What?
s- I'll let you know what he just said.
Good.
He said, "Well, I was going to die anyway. I don't know why I couldn't eat it."
Well,
That's what he
right.
said.
I agree. I agree. I actually had a fight in the hospital with a doctor because they didn't want him eating French fries, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me right now?" I was so mad because they told on us that we brought him Wendy's, and
So,
they're trying to give him a heart healthy diet, and then
all right,
I screamed at them, "Really? It doesn't matter. He's going to eat whatever he
mhm,
wants right now. I don't care."
right.
Yeah,
Um,
and it was so stupid.
yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
Right. Why does it matter? That point.
he has somebody with him, and he said granny. And I don't know if he's talking about his wife or a partner he had, or if he's talking about his mother and your grandmother.
Yeah, probably because
Yeah.
my mom's alive. Yeah,
Okay.
like my
Um,
grandma.
yeah. He's just saying granny. Um,
Wait,
but this,
that's weird. So my best friend's mother, her son would call her Granny. I don't know. Her name was Carol. Would they be hanging?
okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Because
We,
I didn't call
we,
my grandma Granny. I never used that word.
right, right.
That's so
But
interesting.
this one, she's with this spirit is with him.
Huh.
Nice.
Um,
That's fun.
And you were close with her.
Yes, that, yeah.
You were close with her.
yeah.
Second mom.
Yeah. I'm, I'm just getting granny.
That's
That's
horrible. Oh,
nice.
Um,
that's so
That's
funny.
nice.
Yeah. Hmm.
do you have any questions you want to ask him?
Oh, jeez.
Mm.
God.
Here's what you do. You don't even have to say it. If there's something that you want to know,
Right. I
just
don't
ask
mind
him.
saying it. I'm just trying to think.
Well, just don't even say it. Just think it. And if I have an answer for you, I'll give it to you.
Does he have anything to tell my mom?
Oh, no.
No.
He said, stop bitching.
Okay. About my mom?
There's something she complains about.
Oh, mom.
He said she's got to stop.
Interesting. She's not a complainer
Hmm.
at all.
He said you didn't live with her.
Yeah. That's funny.
That
Well,
is
I did actually, but you know,
yes, no.
years ago, right? Oh, that's so interesting. What is it? I wonder.
Um,
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't want to give the typical answer, but I'm getting it from him. You know, the best years of his life were with her, he said. Um,
I'm sure.
he, yeah, I get this feeling. I tell people when we get something from his spirit, um, I get this warm feeling right in my chest here. And that's always indicative of the amount of love that this spirit has had or has for someone. And that's kind of what I'm getting here for your
Yeah.
mom. Um, he's saying he was incredibly in love with her.
Mm.
He knows that she misses him,
Yes.
but he said you can tell her that he's always there.
I do.
Mhm.
Okay.
And the complaining thing is he said, yeah, you need to stop bitching, but he's just letting her know that he hears her doing her complaining every once in a while
Okay.
when nobody's around and she complains, just
Okay.
complains, in her own head or something.
Huh.
Um,
Okay.
she does talk to him,
Yeah, she does.
but I'm getting this. He's saying that she doesn't think he hears her
Mhm.
or she doesn't know that he's there with her.
Yeah.
Um, there's something about a curtain, and she's noticed it. There's a curtain that moves in the house,
Okay.
and she notices it. She sees it happening. You can tell her that's him.
Wow,
Okay.
love it.
Yeah, that'll be
Great.
He's
yeah.
saying that's him.
Okay.
Um, she uses a cane.
No,
I'm seeing a cane.
no. There might be one there, like somebody might have given them one, possibly for my dad
Okay.
to use, but he never would.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
possible.
I'm seeing one of those canes that
Yeah.
has the three little feet on the bottom so you can stand it up.
Yeah, yeah, but no.
I don't know. That might be.
It could just be there and he didn't want to use it. That kind.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
I don't think he really needed it, but
he's telling me, although you may have thought that he was gone, uh, you know, mentally, physically, he may have been gone. You may have thought he's here, but he's not there, because of the dementia and
I
so
never
forth.
thought that, but about him, but other people
He
did.
was always there.
Yeah,
He was
I
always there.
knew that. Yeah, I knew that.
He heard everything, every conversation.
I know he did, and I used to try to tell people
And
that.
he's telling me that there were times that he says there were times that you actually asked him, you know, can you hear me? Are you listening? Um, Something to that effect. I'm trying to,
Mm.
um, did you have conversations with him
Yep.
when he had dementia and he
Yes.
didn't really answer?
Mm,
Or the responses were just not coherent?
no,
Meaning that sometimes they didn't make sense. Um,
he had a different kind of dementia. Like he didn't have your normal dementia. He got dementia because he had too much anesthesia. So it was like different.
mhm.
Like he never didn't know who we were or anything like that. Um,
Oh,
so so I don't know if I answered
okay.
what was the question.
Wow. Well, I got to tell you,
Okay.
do you remember what day you came to me at the Jersey event? Do you
Oh.
remember what day that was?
Well, we could look it up. It was sometime in
It,
March.
well, that's not important. I'm just
I'm gonna say it was like around the 10th, 11th
you
of March, something like that.
you had just said that your dad, um, the dementia, the mental status of
Yeah,
what he had was due to too much anesthesia.
that's what they said.
I remember I had done a reading for someone at that Jersey event, and it was a really good reading. And then I asked them about someone who had been in the hospital, but they were given too much medicine,
Mm.
and they had no idea who I was talking about. And I'm trying to figure out, maybe that might have been around the time when you had come up to me and asked me about
Oh,
being on your podcast,
Yeah.
because sometimes spirits will,
yeah,
you know,
maybe that came in, right?
Yeah, and he's just picking up on that.
Right.
That's very
Because we just met
it's,
super briefly, like in
right.
between.
yeah, it was only a matter of a minute or two, and then
Yeah.
you were gone.
Yep.
But I'm wondering if
Oh,
Well,
he had come through
he always does.
before you got
yeah, he
there.
always comes around, like,
Right.
so, yeah.
See, maybe you should have stuck around a little bit longer. You might have,
Well, you were like trying to have a break,
Mm.
and so I didn't intrude on that.
You would have now, because like I had told you when I was up at that event,
I know.
it was one after
I
another.
know. That's why I was trying not to
And
bother you because you
but
were
I
trying
was
to take a much.
I was on such a roll though, man. It was
Yeah, yeah,
awesome. I mean, it was
yeah,
just amazing.
yeah.
Until I felt like I was going to crash because I really seriously needed a break,
Right,
because
exactly.
I mean, I just had to
I would do one because I know how that gets.
people, I try
Sometimes.
to let people know how much energy it takes to do a reading.
Yeah.
I'm quite tired sometimes, depending on how
Right.
how the reading goes, and it could be exhausting. So there are some days when I get done with the reading, and my wife says, "Okay, go to bed," go
Right.
to
No,
bed and get some
absolutely.
sleep.
Absolutely. Should we
Um,
talk offline a little more because we're
well, I'm really
or do
bad
you have
about
some
that.
more things that you would like to
Um,
say to
one of my faults is I stay connected a lot,
that's fine.
almost all the time.
That's awesome.
I do close the doors every now and then, but I like to stay open,
Okay.
because I never know where I could be helpful, how I could help someone or something
Mhm.
going on. Um, there's so much emotion involved in a reading.
Yes.
Especially with folks who've just recently lost a loved one, which I got a lot of those at the up in New
Sure.
Jersey.
They're going to be
And
thoughts of you. Yeah.
it's extremely emotional, not just for the person I'm reading for, but for me as well. I feel that emotion. That's how I
Yeah,
connect.
yeah,
That's how I get to it.
yeah,
And I cried at some of those readings just like my the
yeah,
person across from me did, because I
yeah.
can feel that emotion. And also when I feel that emotion coming from the spirit to whomever I'm reading to, the amount of love, the passion that somebody has for somebody, I feel that when that
Right.
spirit comes through, and I feel that pain. I feel maybe how much heart, the love they feel for somebody, and and I try to get that across to somebody, and they always will say, "Oh my God, I can just feel that." I feel it.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
great.
try to say, hang on to that because
You
they
said
don't
you've
want
done
you to
your job,
think.
right?
Yeah.
So
I've done my job. Yeah, I've done my
Mhm.
job, and it's always nice to know that people walk away. Now, one of the other side of being a medium is I never know what happens after.
right,
I always try to tell people, here's my card. Please
Yeah.
let me know. And
right, right. Because sometimes they
from
think
that,
of things after,
yeah.
sure.
Oh, from that event, I think I did 50 readings that weekend. You know, only two people reached out to let me know how things went. Um, I try not to let that bother me because I just want to know so
It's
bad.
just the people. Like
It's
they
people.
just people feel funny
That's right.
about it. They
I
don't
know.
they don't want
Oh,
to
sure, sure,
they don't want
sure.
to
I
call
get
it,
it.
they think it's
Yeah.
silly, but they
Oh,
don't
yeah.
understand that it's validation. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, sometimes I need the validation as well that I've
Yeah.
done my
Right.
job, but I always have this thing about I just really would love to know what happens afterwards.
Yeah.
I had
Well,
somebody
I'll
come
tell
back
you.
twice on that weekend. Somebody came back twice.
Okay. That's
Yeah, they came on Saturday morning. They came back on Sunday. And they said, it was great, but I want more. And sometimes I try to let them know. It's like I'm not sure that's a good thing.
John, if they came to you and
Yeah,
said, I want to speak, I want to connect with such and such a person,
right,
are
right.
you that way with what you're doing?
Generally, you can.
Mhm.
Most of the time you can. When I do readings for people, I send to them, a PDF document which explains what's going to happen, how to, what to do, what to expect. One of the things I tell them is to keep your expectations, at a nominal level.
Mhm.
Don't expect too much because you're going to be disappointed.
sure.
So I tell them that. So that way, when somebody comes through, like, their best friend from first grade comes through instead of their mother, they'll understand why,
Mhm.
you know, because it's almost always it's not who you expect is going to come through, you know. And that bird I was telling you about, Dev, I don't know what the bird is about,
Okay. Well, if
but
I find out, I will definitely
this
let you know.
bird,
'Cause this
there's
is
something about a bird that this
okay.
gray bird, it's a little fat one too. It's
I
not
know
like a
it.
big,
Yes. I mean, I see them.
okay. Right. Okay.
I just
Well,
have
next time you
I
go out in
just
the
look and I
backyard,
go, oh, that's weird.
It may just be your dad, just his energy coming by.
Maybe.
it could be your dad, just every time the bird shows up, that's your dad.
Right.
Every time my wife sees when my wife sees a bird outside, there's one specific bird. She says, that's mom.
Right.
Yeah.
I have the same thing with
Yeah.
both my
Yeah.
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 Part of it.
Um,
I
Yeah.
get blue jay in the car.
yeah, it's yeah.
Mhm.
So, just it's how do I say? Um, I feel like, I feel like I'm being left behind. I give everything they need and then they leave. And
Oh,
I'm
well,
like,
so we'll tell
no,
everybody that's listening to this
Get
please.
that,
back to you.
right, get back to you. If
Because
you have a nice,
people are not receptive to that call coming in again.
well, that's true.
You know what?
That's
And that's
Right.
true.
very kind of you. But I think that the reason that many people are not is because that call, which is a
Yeah.
validation, can lead to more questions, and then it gets gray whether or not it's a reading. And so
Right.
Right.
I think
I
that
think
it's
that's why people
really
do it.
right. I
Yeah.
think it's really
I agree.
I think it's actually very generous of you to say to someone, I'm open for your feedback, because I don't think that's the norm.
No,
Definitely.
no, no, not really. Some of the mediums that I know, um, they're not interested in what
Right.
happens
That's
after,
right.
and I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
No,
It's
but
just that,
that's how they work.
I have a tendency to hold on to things sometimes, and that's why I need to clear myself out, every once in a while. Um, But then again, somebody could call me or contact me and say, "Hey, you did a reading. You said this. You said this. You said this." I have to trust that what they're telling me is true, because
Right.
quite honestly, Deb, all the stuff we just talked about with your dad,
Yeah.
I don't even remember half of it now.
Oh, right.
That's how quickly
Right.
that's how
Yes.
quickly it
Well,
just
thank
comes in
you.
and
Thank you for
goes.
the messages.
You
I
know,
appreciate it.
you
And
know.
thank you for
But
being
you did the same thing my wife did. You didn't write anything down,
all
so
right.
if you don't remember anything,
I
I
got
got
it.
it.
I got it. We both got it. Don't worry. Plus, this is
wait a minute.
recorded.
You can record. It's
It's
recorded. You can look
recorded.
back at it. But
I will play this for my mom. Like I will, because she doesn't
yeah,
do it. So
yeah,
I will.
yeah, and um, but it's I'll end it this way.
Okay.
I never ever thought that in my life that I would be in a position where I would um, my life and what I do would be so important.
Yeah.
You know,
It is
we
very
all
needed.
wonder,
It's so important.
what we're supposed to be. Why am I here? What am I
Oh,
supposed to
yeah.
be doing? But when I sit with somebody and I just what I can do for them, it's not money, it's not anything, it's
Mhm.
nothing material. I can't hand them anything,
It's
but what I
beautiful.
give them
Beautiful
is just,
gift.
it's amazing even to me, what I can do. I do record some of my readings
Mhm.
because the person I'm reading for will ask me if I can record it for them and send them the thing. And I do that. I have no problem doing that. And I'll actually watch it, and
Why
I'm like,
not?
oh
Cool.
my God. I'll
John,
be like,
I
did I?
love for you that you feel that way, like that
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
feel that amazement and that excitement and the appreciation of what you're able to do for people, and it shines through you. Like I
Yeah.
yeah,
see, yeah.
yeah. I
Uh,
say to my wife, my wife listens. My wife listens to the readings all the time.
Yeah.
She'll be in the background listening, and I'll get off the reading and we'll sit there and I'll look at her and go, "Holy shit, did I just really do that?" I say, "Did I really just do that?" Like, oh my God. And
Yeah.
then I listen to it and I'm like, "Wow, I am totally legit."
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I'll
That's
say.
great. I love it.
You
That
know,
lifts
I,
you
I,
up to know
I,
that you're totally legit. And then
I, you know, I,
such a pleasure.
yeah, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I look forward to it, and absolutely, but yeah, it's fantastic,
Well,
and
thanks again, John.
yeah. Well,
So
thank you so
appreciate it.
much. This has been
Okay. All
fantastic.
right.
I
We'll
appreciate
talk
it.
to you soon.
Bye bye, John.
Bye,
Thank you.
John.